Jeez. My fault. Heck? Cross-threaded. Sheesh. Really? Ah. No. What the heck? No. Shoot. That's kind of sucky. We'll use the old one that I took out. But why is it doing that? Try this again. Hopefully I haven't messed up the threads on the brass. It's not working. Shoot. What is going on? I obviously messed that up. Where's the screw? This is the one I messed up. See if we can get this started. That is not great. I think I screwed it up because I was kind of fishing around while the servo was on here, and the screw hurt the threads. I'm gonna go to my screwdriver. Come on, go in straight. Why? There we go. That's not feeling awesome, but it's going in. Oof. I don't know what I've done here. What? Is that me? This one is getting stripped again. The other one is just fine. Let's see. Yeah, there's no worries there. Well, I was trying to get it out with my bigger hemostats and I bent the head. Well, actually the shaft. It was loose. Now, because it's bent, it's holding that in there tightly. So I'm just going to install it as it is. It was probably me. I was kind of searching around for the hole on the other side. And I might have screwed up the threads right at the beginning on the brass here. So I'm going to install this like it is. It's in there pretty good. So we'll do it that way. Before you put on the servo horn, always make sure that you turn on the truck so that that servo centers. That way you can get it as close as possible to straight up and down. It's a little off that direction, but it should be within the scope of steering trim. You don't want it too loose, don't want it too tight. That feels good. That's going into plastic, so I'll have to be super careful. Yes, I should have Loctite, but I lent mine to one of my kids for use on his e-bike, and he left it open and it dried up. I gotta get some more. That's awesome. Why is it doing that? I screwed something up. All right, back to the drawing board. I put the servo on the wrong side of the servo mount. Oh my gosh. Now I am going to have to get this servo off of this servo mount somehow. I will try to figure that out. Just a reminder, always make sure you're keeping track of what goes where and that you're putting things back in the right position when you're putting things together again. Quinn's RC is here to teach you the wrong way to do things. So I'm gonna have to look at this. I don't know how I'm gonna get this off that mount with the screw all bent, but I'll be back in a second. Well, unfortunately, the screw broke with the shaft inside the mount, so I'm just gonna have to go back to stock for now. Anybody know how to get that out of there? I don't. Just getting those started so I don't have to fumble around while it's in place. I put it on the wrong way again.
One eternity later.
Okay, that's there. Phew, that was a bit of a struggle. Mostly me being a ding-dong. Seriously? What's going on here? So what confused me is this is attached to the ESC tray, and so it looks like we were meant to cut this off. I sent an email to support asking the question. Then I went on the website and discovered that this mount is not compatible with the D90, which this is. So there are actually quite a few things that are specifically for the D90 and quite a few things that will not work on a D90 because of its changed wheelbase. And I guess that changes something in here as well with the bumper mount. So I might cut this, but for this video, I am going to just leave it to the side until I hear back from support. Maybe there's another solution. We do still have this nice aluminum bumper, so we'll put that on and keep the stock bumper mount for now. Like I said, I might cut that off at some later date. Took a bit to get these lined up, the little holes, but there they are. I used a needle to probe to make sure that the bumper was in the right spot for the holes to line up. Let's see, make sure that it doesn't interfere with the body. You can see here, especially when you have the spare, even though I took the brass out of this spare, the rear shocks just really don't support the body. Now there are some 39mm shocks you can get from Injora, but I can't afford those right now, so I'm going to see if either doubling up the spring or using a spring from this stock CR18P shock will help it out. That is a long screw. Still not all the way out. I'm not a surgeon. Can you imagine? Me with a scalpel. Ha! Okay.
Incorrect.
Wait a minute. Yes, they're 1.5. Put my glasses back on. Can't remember if there's a hex in there. Phillips? Oh yeah, Phillips, of course. Looks about the same gauge, but it's a little longer. Let's give it a shot. Is that more bounce? Let's do the other one. I think that made a big difference. I'll put a link to those shocks for the CR18P in the description. I kind of want to do both. I noticed that there's a second position in the rear that I didn't notice before, where you can lower the top of the shock to lift the rear, but I'm going to see if this works. I'm kind of excited about that because I really didn't like the way it drooped. I did not want a squatted truck. I've got one more project here. Let's see. I wish people would not use Phillips for stuff. I'm going to try to get this interior out. They are so difficult to remove. Hopefully I can just do one side on these mounts. God. So hard. Ah! Please don't. I can see shavings, little pieces of metal as it kind of come out. Oh, thank goodness. Let's see if I take this out. Can I get the body out? I don't want to crack it. They just bite so hard and then strip so easy. There's one. Yeah. Two. Looks like I'm gonna have to take the fenders out. This interior is part of the earlier video I did as well. This one has a driver. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this yet, but you might have noticed a little friend watching. I'm gonna see if he can get a ride in the truck. That's a big corgi for sure, but let's see if we can get him to stick in there. Little two-sided tape. And some dull scissors. I don't think this has to be too... Jesus. My kids keep taking my scissors. Always my kids. And using them to cut wires. Let's see. That's better. Trim this up a little. Actually, this is one I'm most excited about. I wanted to get the corgi inside here. Let's see if this is gonna work. Maybe not. There we go. Hee. I'll put him facing forward. It's more like a German Shepherd corgi. Get this back in. That was good. Ah! Yay, doggy. These little screws, just finicky. It's got to use a lot of pressure. I don't want to crush the roof rack on here. That's how much pressure you kind of have to use. Hey, that's pretty solid. Yeah, doggy, I'm so happy with that. Did I say that already? Hee. What the heck? Why are they sliding like that? Means I have to open up the diff, I guess. Okay, let's have a look in here. Hopefully. Oh, you got to take them apart. Got the rubber band out again. There's one. Of course, you know that when I take this off, I'm going to drop a whole bunch of bearings and gears into the body. There we go. There's nothing. There's nothing keeping this centered. Oh. Okay. Well, that explains that. Crazy. It's got enough grease in there. Huh. I'm surprised. Well, we'll just put it back together. Have you ever lost a screw in a truck? I have, and I just did again. Usually it's stuck on the motor because of the magnets, but I don't see it. I guess it's just in there for good until it pops out and jams something. Found it, just fell out. Another fiddly task. These little pins. I always lose one or two every time I take off hexes. It's gotta be centered. You know, these brass hexes probably aren't adding a lot of weight. Gonna make a big difference in performance, but just to know they're under there is worth it. See if I can get it to go blind. Yay! Definitely looking a little front heavy, which is good. That was the whole point of the bumper. Well, actually, the front end stuff didn't really happen. I didn't get that bumper mount, the brass bumper mount, or the brass, there we go, or the brass servo mount in. It's kind of annoying. Okay. There are a couple other things, but I'm going to leave that for a video for a later date. Look at this though. That is sitting way better. I'm going to put in a shot from the beginning where you can see that this was really sagging. Still not a lot of movement, but it sits way better. CR18P springs, that's the key to that one. So in conclusion, I did change the springs out in the front, and then it was higher than the rear, so I moved the shock positions in the rear down to lift the body. Do you think that's too much lift now? Let me know in the comments. So we've got Batrazzi weighted wheels and tires on here. We've got the Corgi inside. We've got the magnetic mounts here. CNC aluminum Batrazzi bumper, and then underneath the Batrazzi aluminum skid plate and Batrazzi high clearance links. I think it's looking pretty good now. I'm happy with it. I'm gonna head on to another project. What do you think? Let me know. Thanks for joining me. Bye.